Motivation, Isaac 98.1 FM, The Promise. And today it's an awesome pleasure for my special guest here with me, all the way from Maryland. And I'd love to welcome LaSalle, no stranger to us here on Isaac 98.1 FM. She's been here before, and it's always a pleasure for me to have a very, 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 very ambitious young lady whom really can teach us, how to accomplish our God-given skill and talent and fulfill purpose in life by being consistent and everything else, I've adopted myself for her to mentor me. Yeah. So welcome, LaSalle, to Isaac 98.1 FM. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. I'm excited to be here. And I loved how you made sure you want everyone to know that you let me know that I adopted you.
Adopted, just,
I love how you put that out there.
Yeah. Just put it all down.
And you look great as usual.
Thank you. And Trinidad and Tobago, she is Trini born. I just need to put that in there, right?
Of course. Born and raised.
Right. And yes. And I think it's great because now persons are coming out of school and thinking of what they can do. Some of them would have goals and dreams of what they would want to accomplish, right? And the scene that you came out of school in Trinidad and Tobago and migrated and really catapulted to another level, you can really encourage young persons in fulfilling that dream and not giving up. Right?
Definitely.
So just give us a little snippet of that transition coming out of Holy Name Convent and migrating.
Oh my goodness, you really taking us back.
Yeah, we're going on a journey.
I know. So yes, I graduated from Holy Name Convent in 91. Yeah, 92. 91, class of 91. Wow. And from there, once I graduated, I did migrate to the U.S. But actually, the first time I migrated, it was not a successful one because I actually went to school in Omaha, Nebraska for one semester. And I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Yeah, I went to Creighton University. It is a great school, but I just hated the place. I liked nothing about Omaha. It was cold, and I guess I was fresh from Trinidad, so it was too cold, only seeing snow and ice. I was like, nah. So I actually came back home for a year, worked at Neal and Massey.
Okay.
And then, I used to work for Neal and Massey for a year at CCS. I'm sure that's not around anymore.
Maybe not.
Since I'm taking it back, right?
Right.
And after a year, my dad was like, so what are you going to do with your life? And I was like, I want to stay in Trinidad. And he was like, no, you need to go and get your education. I was like, okay. So then we both agreed for me to go to Howard University because at least I had friends and family there. And I was used to visiting Howard and I was used to Washington, D.C. So it was more my style as opposed to sending me off to Omaha, Nebraska.
Right.
So went to Howard, of course, met a whole bunch of Trinis there that I have great relationships with now, and started off my career in accounting. I know I didn't like it, but I did it because it paid great money and I was able to take care of myself. And along that journey, my accounting journey, that's where I met my husband. He and I actually met at a nonprofit firm we both used to work at. And then from there, that's actually how this real estate journey started.
Wow.
Meeting my husband. Because when we met, we both were prosperous, had great jobs, bringing in great money. And then we had a child who was very expensive
right.
because he did not have regular taste. Anyway, fast forward. My husband and I started I started in the real estate business first. I got my license back in 2012. So I've had my license, I can't believe almost 12 years. And it was just a way to bring in extra income into the family since there were some things happening in the economy, some adjustments were done with our job. And I also had a difficult pregnancy with my son. So my salary was also adjusted. So we needed to find a way to bring extra income. And my husband was like, why don't you do real estate? And I was like, okay. Nobody in my family has ever done real estate before. So I was like, why not? I'm up for the challenge. Got my license and basically hit the ground running with, starting off in real estate. I think what has really helped propel my success is the fact that I invested in myself heavily. Meaning that I attended every training classes there was available to help me in my career in real estate. So I was one of those people. I was in every training class, learning about contracts, learning how to build relationships, learning how about different personalities, just learning as much as I could. And because my business ended up blowing up, and I needed help because, mind you, I forgot that I was still doing my full-time job. So I was doing real estate and I still have my full-time job. So my husband decided to get his license in 2015 and joined me to help me in growing the business because it was starting to be a lot where we were getting a lot of clients and I needed help. And so he decided to join me, and basically that's how we ended up where we are today without, getting people too bored with all the gory details that it took to get here.
I wanna go to being a success. You were talking about being a success. So I want to talk about that part of it with regards to what were the keys. I remember, talking off camera and we spoke about, you getting up and making your calls. So persons who are into sales, would understand how important it is connecting and making those calls. And I was blown out the water hearing, your consistency, your discipline. That is one thing as well that I noticed. You were very disciplined, and I'm trying to adopt that. That's my motto for this year with regards to getting all those calls inside, which really, lent to your success, and how valuable that was with regards to you advancing and getting that connection as well and clients.
Oh my God, that was a huge part of it. That was 100% of it. So in real estate, it's sales. And in order for me to grow my business, especially since I'm not from DC, the majority of my people who I really consider my close friends and my circle are still in Trinidad, and I'm still connected with them. So I had an additional challenge in that I had to grow a business where I didn't really have a strong, what I like to call, sphere of influence. So in order to grow my business, one of the things I did was I made a lot of sales calls every morning. And I think you were just surprised when I told you every morning I was dedicated to making those calls because I knew if I didn't, I wouldn't have any business. I'll be honest, there were some days I didn't want to get out of bed and make those calls because it can be very discouraging. Because in those calls, not everybody wants to talk to you. They're like, why are you calling me? It's 8 o'clock in the morning. No, I don't want to talk to you. I'm not interested in selling a house. And I got a lot of people that hung up in my face and even say hello. They just hung up in my face. But I also know that if I didn't make those calls, I wouldn't be able to provide for my family and put food on the table. And I also know I would not be able to grow the type of business that I want to have back then. So I really had very strong motivators, meaning I had a young son, I have a husband, I have bills, which is always a motivating factor.
Yes.
And also I had the goal of growing a big business. And I know, these were small sacrifices that will in turn pay off in the long run. So it's just a matter of just being disciplined and really sticking to. And I think what helps is just having something to motivate you and push you forward on those days you don't want to do it. And for me, it was just growth of a big business and being able to provide for my family and being able to do things I want to do without saying, how our parents used to say, oh gosh, we have to save, wait till next month. No. You know what I mean? I didn't want to have those type of conversations. If I want to do something, I want to be able to do it now with no questions asked or anything like that. So,
wow. Yeah. So I hope you're listening, those who are into sales and into selling and that kind of thing, or us insurance persons, because sometimes you can really be discouraged with the no's, right? And coping with that, how were you able to flip? How were you able to cope with that and go again? Because sometimes when you're calling and persons, you're getting that negativity, what is the way forward passing it?
Understood. Because you're right, you do get beat up and you do get discouraged. It was a big mindset shift for me. I think because in my mind, I changed no into next opportunity. That's how I looked at my no's. And I also looked at my no's as the fact that those people will not be wasting my time in my goals I want to accomplish. So the faster you said no to me, the faster I was able to move on to the next opportunity. And all the no's I always knew is getting me closer to a yes. Because I know, but when I first started, my numbers were, I had to make about 100 dials to get one yes, meaning, call 100 dials, talk to about 50 people before I could get one yes.
Wow.
So it was also a matter of me of tracking like the amount of calls I made, the amount of hang-ups, the amount of contacts I was making, so I could really get dialed into my numbers. So I'll know what it took to get to a yes. So I know to myself that if I called less than 100 people for the day, I wasn't going to get any yes.
100 is saying 100 persons.
Yeah, 100 dials. Of course, I had tools to help me, but 100 dials a day. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
That's what I say. You have to know your numbers.
Yeah.
But I use a system. I have a dialer that helped me. And I know I could do 100 calls in about an hour and a half using that dialer system. It wasn't me physically picking up the phone and going like this. I have a dialer system that dialed numbers for me.
Okay.
That I paid for. Yeah. I don't know if they have those in Trinidad.
I don't know. Well, we'll talk about that after. Let's see if they have it in Trinidad. Things have advanced so much more with technology. That seems to be something that we need. I need to help, then that's an answer there. Because there are so many tools I realize that abroad would have that we wouldn't. For example, when I was on that thing the other day, I learned you all have also prospects, a prospect list you all can buy into
through
and
the
that kind of thing.
Systems. Exactly, through the dial-in systems that we use. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want everyone to think that I was physically picking up the phone to one.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Wow.
Oh, no. I invested in a dialing system where I just had my headset. I plugged in. I put my list in for the day, uploaded it, and it dialed all the numbers for me. So I could get through 100 dials in about an hour and a half.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that might be something you might need to look into.
Definitely. That's a tick right there. I'm moving forward with that. Going to inquire about that, find out, and talk to you more about it. All right. So fast tracking now to you evolving and having so many persons with you. How would you say you're able to maintain the other realtors under you and motivating them and still being ahead of it? How do you do it all? Be wife and mother, right? In all of this.
Wow.
Yeah, you see how you do it. So tell us, how do you manage?
I think the key word here for me is leverage. I do have a lot of support. So as I mentioned earlier, my husband is in the business with me. I mean, many people may not be aware, we recently just opened our own brokerage firm, and my husband is my business partner. So I have a lot of leverage in place in that I am the managing broker and I work with, I've partnered with a lot of realtors. But I also have my husband who runs the back end support of our office. So my husband handles all the administrative, all the technology. So he's the back end support for the brokerage. Because if it was up to me, our brokerage will fall down on the ground. And we've also hired an office manager who supports him. And as far as managing the brokerage, I had a real estate team prior to opening my own brokerage. So I had a team of agents that I personally trained and got them up and running and producing. So they're basically, for lack of a better term, they're basically perfect replicas of me because they understand the business inside and out because I personally coached them. So I was able to replicate myself through my team members. And now they provide leverage support for me in that they're now in positions of leadership where they're also coaching and mentoring the new agents. So yes, I am involved, but I only see like those agents who have serious issues. If they're in an issue with a contract or some type of disagreement with a client, that's when I'm brought in. But I do have a ton of support and leverage to help me in the growth of my business. So I'm still able to be a wife and a mom. I can leave work at 5, 6 o'clock and still go home and spend time with my 12-year-old and get on my husband's nerves after 6. Be a normal wife. Let him fuss at me for not cooking. I'm like, I don't feel like cooking. Let's go out to eat. So the key word for me is leverage and support. I do have a lot of that in place to help me in the growth of my business, because if those key people were not there, I would not be able to grow. And I think that's one thing my team understands, is that in order for them to grow, I need the support where if I'm growing, they're where they're growing as well. So
what I love when I our first interview, you spoke about your husband. So wives, I think it's motivation for us, as women as well. When she was talking, she was saying, she had the support of her husband, and I think she was going on her first sale, and she had their son, and he was so amazing. Instead of being like, well, you should take care of them, he was like, girl, you go get that sale. Yeah. And that was amazing. You telling his story will be better.
My husband, my first sale, he was definitely supportive. He's still supportive to this day. Especially since, because I have a lot of wives who are in real estate who do come to me and ask me, how do you get your husband to support you? And I think for me to be very transparent, all of this is really on him. You know what I mean? With real estate, because it was he who pushed me to get my real estate license. He's the one that pushed me to start a real estate team. And he's the one that even pushed me to open a brokerage. So my husband has always been 1,000% supportive. And I think he knows that in the end, he benefits from all the reaps of his labor. So like you said, even with my first appointment that I had to go, my son was about 1.5 years then. I never had problems with him taking care of our son, because he knows if I got that a listing and they sign and once that house sells, that's a nice fat check that's coming into the house that's going to benefit him as well. So yeah, we had to coordinate, don't get me wrong, and make sure he didn't have anything going on, but yeah, he's always had my back, and he still has my back in this business.
And in closing wise, I think we need to encourage our husbands, because you may be able to get a man cave, because I saw exactly. Right. So ladies, men, you need to encourage your wives. Yeah, we will do the little extra, because her husband, he was blessed with a man cave. I was looking at it, I was like, wow. So you see, we're able to help you all do it. Hi, Professor. Just saying, good evening. And a mentor crew, right?
And he got to pick everything that he wanted, because money was the object for what he wanted in his man cave. So yes,
awesome. Yeah. So in case you just joined us, we're listening to Liselle Taylor, Trini born, now in Maryland, and she just let us know that she has her own real estate brokerage, and really coming from Trini soil, God has really caused her to evolve, and this is what it's all about as we advance. So as we close off, any motivational tips for women that wants to advance, us who are in sales, always want to take it to another level? So I'm really jumping out, and persons would hear us on radio and say, oh God, they have it together. No, we, just like everybody else, we have our flaws, we have our struggles and everything else, and I really admire Liselle and her advancement. So I'm really going to be calling her. I will. And I believe that coaching is important, getting a mentor is important, important. You can't do it by yourself. You need the people around you, and those people with the same mindset that has that sees sometimes even where you can reach, because you know, coaching persons to become like you. I mean, that's phenomenal, because you are successful at what you do. So everybody would gravitate to that, right?
Yeah.
As well. So you've been a blessing to so many people and touched so many lives. Aww. Not just by mentoring, but even with the homes, you know, and making it happen. Right?
Yeah.
So, yes.
I think the one piece of advice I would give people, because they fail to that, is you have to invest in yourself. You know, because sometimes I run into agents and they scare me and they're like, oh, I've been an agent for 20 years. And I'm like, oh God, this is going to be the worst transaction ever. You know, because those are the agents that are not keeping up to date with what's going on in the industry. So I'll just say, definitely invest in yourself. You know, seek out those trainings, those conventions where there are people who are doing what you want to do in the future. Because I believe success leaves clues. And I've always been the type of person where I want to follow someone who's already doing what I aspire to do. So I tend to go to conventions. I go to industry related events because I just want to learn and soak up as much knowledge as possible. Because then once again, I can turn around and share that information with the realtors that have chosen to partner with me in my brokerage, as well as share that information with the people who joined me in this journey of starting my brokerage. So that's why I would definitely say invest in yourself. Never be like, oh God, that's too much money. The amount of information that you'll receive and be able to apply it to your business will be worth 10 times what you invested in it initially. Wow. And it will pay off. So that is my key. That's my key advice for today.
Well, thank you for coming again and sharing with us. Definitely we'll connect at some other time and grasp and gravitate to the information and the knowledge and the wisdom that can help us. And continue. I pray that God continue to bless you and your business and your family, because you are a blessing to others. So hence the reason, as you empty, He fills you back up to pour again.
Thank you, girl. You're making me blush, but thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Yeah, so coming straight from the heart. Love you a whole lot. Have a
love
wonderful,
you too, your family. So yes.
Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, and say hi to Donnell and to your sons.
I will.
Okay, bye.
I will. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
So you've been listening to Madonna and LaSalle on Isaac 98.1 FM. Really inspirational, really giving us that encouragement as women, as we need, stretching you, because sometimes you're around persons who tell you what they want to hear, and sometimes you need that person that could stretch you and advance you and take you to another level, and that is what it's all about. Okay, so have a wonderful afternoon. You've been listening to Woman of Promise with Madonna and LaSalle right here on Isaac 98.1 FM, The Promise.
Check out Isaac on our social media pages. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Isaac The Promise. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube